And welcome into part 2 of our new summer series, Fresh Faces, here on SienaSaints.com. Each day we're taking a look at a new freshman from both the Siena men's and women's basketball teams. In part 2 today, we're pleased to be joined by a local product out of Colony Central, and right here in Loudonville, New York, Tehresa Coles, a 5'9" guard who is a freshman on the women's team. And Tehresa, welcome to Siena.
Thank you.
Well, yesterday in part 1 of our series, we had a player who wasn't so close to here, and Evan Himes from North Carolina. A little different for you.
Yeah.
You're from right here in Loudonville. What made you to decide to stay so close to home and commit to Siena?
Well, I actually moved a lot before I even moved to New York, so staying local wasn't really a big deal to me. Like, staying in one place was actually something that I really wanted to do, and I wanted to be close to my family, and the program really sold me. Like, they really got me. Like, talking to the coaches and meeting the players, like, just a place that I feel comfortable here, and I feel like I'm going to fit in.
Well, you couldn't be much closer to home, and I know you've lived here about 7 or 8 years. Tell us about when you were growing up, if you came to a lot of games, and what first got you interested in the Siena women's basketball program.
Well, when I was younger and I first came here, I did a couple camps at my high school, and the coaches, they're always like telling the younger kids like about college programs, like things to look forward to in the future, what we're working for now that's going to get us somewhere in the future. And they would always use Siena as a great example because it's a local program. So when I was a kid, like with my teammates or with my campmates, we'd be able to come to a Siena game and look up to the players that were here and say that we want to be in that same situation once we get to that age.
Now, your older sister, Jessica, played at St. Peter's. A lot of basketball bloodlines in your family. Unfortunately, you won't get to go against her one-on-one as she graduated this past year. But what was that like, having an older sister who's played not only Division I, but played in the MAC, to be a mentor and a leader, but also tell you what it takes to play at this level and in this league?
Well, it's been really awesome. I mean, I've gone to see her play. I've seen her play Siena, so I've been watching her games, and she can tell me, not just from watching the games, I can see how the game is played, but she can tell me like from firsthand experience about how much of a big step it is from high school basketball to college basketball. And she's been able to kind of really help me through this transition, and she's told me what I need to do and what it's going to take to make it at this level, and that's really helped me get to where I am.
Now, you and your sister are obviously two very different players. She's a post player, you're a guard, but when you get together during the summer in your driveway 2 minutes down the road, who's winning one-on-one?
Well, me, of course, because I got her on speed. I mean, she might be able to block my shot, but if she can't catch me, it doesn't matter.
Now, you are watching part 2 of our 2-week summer series called Fresh Faces, as we introduce you to the new freshmen from both the Siena men's and women's basketball teams. Reminder to check back daily to SienaSaints.com for fresh video content and new interviews with the Saints freshmen. Again, our guest today is women's basketball freshman Tehresa Coles out of Colony Central right here in Loudonville. And Tehresa, a lot of people in the area know you for your Section 2 success in basketball at Colony Central, but as I understand it, you're also a tremendous track and field, and discus, and also the shot put. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I started doing shot put and discus when I was in 8th grade, and I've done it ever since then. And people always think like, oh, you're too small to throw, you're too small to be a thrower, but I've done pretty good for myself. I've gone to the state meet 3 years in a row now. This past year I got 4th in the state for discus and 6th in the federation.
Now, you come in as a 2-guard, you play the guard position. Tell us a little bit about some of your biggest strengths on the offensive and defensive end, and some of your characteristics on the court fans should look for.
Well, one of the parts that I've always been able to take pride in my game has been my speed and my defense, because defense is something that any basketball player should love, because it's a big part of the game, one of the most important parts of the game. And so I've been able to take pride in my defense. I've worked very hard on it with all my coaches, any trainers that I've had, so it's a really big part of my game.
Before we came on, you said one of your interesting things you like to do is to crochet. How do you get involved with crocheting?
Well, one of the classes that were offered at my high school was an arts and crafts class, and I just need to fill my schedule, so I thought I'd take it, and I learned how to crochet, and it's been with me ever since. Like, whenever before games even, I used to crochet in the locker room. I mean, as weird as it was, but it's been something that's really helped me get over like stress when I'm nervous or if I'm stressed or something. It's just something to do.
Any superstitions that you have?
Not really. On game days, I try not to do anything too active, because I mean, even in the mornings, like I try to if I have to carry like anything extra to school, I have my parents just try and bring it later, because I just don't want to do too much hard work. I feel like I'm gonna just exert too much energy before the game.
Now, I didn't think this question would be a big question yesterday. I asked Evan Himes his favorite movie. I did not expect to hear the answer Titanic, so I'm going to be careful asking you this. Your favorite movie, Tehresa?
It's pretty much most basketball players' favorite movie, but Love and Basketball is definitely my favorite movie.
And lastly, what thing are you most looking forward to for your upcoming freshman year as a basketball player at Siena?
I'm just looking forward to getting acquainted with my teammates, transitioning into this year, earning my spot on the court, and having a really successful season.
Well, Tehresa, thanks for taking some time to join us. We look forward to see you playing not only this winter, but the next 4 years to come.
Thank you.
All right, once again, that was Siena women's basketball freshman Tehresa Coles joining us today in part 2 of our Fresh Faces piece here. A reminder to check back daily to SienaSaints.com for feature video interviews on all of the men's and women's basketball freshmen, continuing tomorrow with men's basketball freshman Rob Poole.